Shoot me down in flames if I should tell a lie. Cross my heart, I promise that it's true. I've been in love so many times before, but never with a girl like you. With a girl like you to hold and be beside. With a girl like you to fill my heart with pride and joy. With a girl like you, I know where I belong. With a girl like you, I know I can be strong, you know. I won't bring you any pain. I won't run around again. There'll be nothing to explain with a girl like you.
Okay, you fans, I'm gonna take you to the house in this area where the fantastic actress Debbie Reynolds lived, on the corner of Irvine and Alameda, 15095. Now the reason why she lived here, she bought this house in 1983, if you can imagine, in this basic, nondescript, lower middle class environment here in North Hollywood. She bought this house in 1983 because she was at the lowest ebb of her life after her second husband, Harry Carroll, spending $9 million of her money over 20 years, spending $20 million of his dollars, $40,000 to $50,000 a day for 20 years. And here it is, 11595. She lived here in 1983, and she moved her mother, Maxine, across the street. And now I just want to say that she had a friend, his name was Bob O'Connell. He was dying, and she was so giving and so generous that she took care of him for about 6 months with a hospital bed here. She took care of him. This is where she finally got on her feet after the 1973 divorce from that bum Harry Carroll. He actually he spent $9 million of her money. To add insult to injury, her money manager stole $160,000 of her money too, and that was in 1973. And she was so broke that all she could afford was a 1978 or a 1968 Chevy for $1,500. This is where she lived. All you fans all over the world in the 1980s, and I don't know what house her mom lived in, Maxine, after her father died, but here's the address right here, Alameda and 11595. Okay, she also, after she got divorced, after that Harry spent $9 million of her money, she had to pay $3.7 million of his debts. And then she, thanks to Howard Hughes, giving her $500,000 a year for 2 years to play at the Desert Inn, she got off her feet. And then she finally hit big time with this Broadway play called Irene, made $7.5 million for 14 months. And she had to pay Harry half of that, 10% earnings agent's fee from Irene, which she made there. And she was completely broke, and this is all she could afford. And when she was in the play in Irene in New York, when she would come to LA, they said that she would actually sleep in the back of her Chevy. Well, she finally got her act together, finally got back on track, and she was able to buy this house. And sometimes I wonder if these neighbors even knew who their famous neighbor was. But then again, you'd have to be starstruck, which I am. I'd be impressed. So here you go. And I don't know when she moved from this house But all I know is that when I read Debbie, My Life, her 1988 biography, I don't know what happened after that. All I know is that she met this guy named George Hamlet. Let me see, I got that mixed up, the name. His name was Richard Hamlet, I'm sorry. He ended up marrying her around this time. And then again, she had really bad luck. She found out that he had a mistress for the whole time, 12 years. And if Harry wasn't bad enough, she actually called this Richard the devil. Can you imagine? That's how bad it was. He had a mistress, he had her ensconced in a condo. He was taking all her money, him and his girlfriend, meanwhile telling Debbie that there was no other woman except Debbie for him. And she really, poor Debbie, God bless her, as generous and kind as she was, she really had bad luck with husbands and men in general. That poor, wonderful, sad woman, talented woman, loving woman. Anyway, she took care of her friend Bob O'Connell, and she even took him to Hawaii and got him a private nurse so that he could die looking at the ocean in Hawaii. And she was just a giving person, but look how she ended up. All the millions of people making them happy, and look where she ended up, in this nondescript neighborhood. Well, there's nothing wrong. It was a decent house. She fixed it up, retrofitted it. But coming from where she came from, after having risen to the creme de la creme, Beverly Hills mansions, running with the rich and famous, and then here she ended up in the 80s. But then she finally sold for $17 million her memorabilia collection. And I would suppose, not having read her later second biography, I would just assume that she probably, after that, she moved with her son Todd back to Beverly Hills, probably somewhere in the 90s. Okay, so let's go around one more time. Oh, I better not, because that guy was already asking me what I was doing. I heard him yelling. Okay, well, let's just say that we'll never forget you, Debbie. And thank you for making so many millions of people happy with your great songs, your beautiful voice, that beautiful smile, and gracing this world with your person for 84 years. So Debbie, wherever you're at, good night, sweet princess.
There'll be nothing to explain with a girl like you.
Okay, thank you, and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, bye-bye.